Yeah, absolutely. One for the
If
socials. Well.
maybe if Owen goes in the middle, and then if you
Yes,
don't
do you want to hold your guitar for the photo, bro?
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
That looks sound.
Depends if you want to shout out Capri Sun or not.
he's trying to get sponsorship.
Genuinely, yeah.
Are you recording now?
If you want me to move it, I will
Cool.
move it.
Okay,
I'll
we're
remove it
recording,
if you
so
want
we're
it.
just like.
Because they've turned me down for a sponsorship twice, if you want it gone, it'll go.
No, honestly.
Is it in front?
Well, I don't think YouTube will like flag it.
There's not a lot left. Oh no, they want it. It's just like if the Ron's brand wants to associate with Capri Sun or not.
I don't think they care.
It's not actually a sponsorship.
No, well, that's actually
I'm
what we're
just
trying to
having
do.
a
So we're trying to get we're obviously fully self-funded. So we're trying to get the podcasts and the acoustic sessions sponsored by establishments. So if we do, hopefully, we'll go to like a Capri Sun factory. Have you seen the Cold to Wall acoustic session
With
that
the
he did
beers
at a
on
brewery?
Yeah.
Such a cool
So
business.
that's what we're aiming for. That's what we're trying to do. Is we'll have a little, podcast and chat, but hopefully
Get picked
along
up.
the line we'll get, some deals with some places.
I know a few that could work with us. Let's all name one. We're rolling now. This is in, by the way.
Right.
Let's say one brand each that we would collab with, food or drink, right? I'm saying O'Donnell's Moonshine. They're cool.
That makes mine look stupid. I was going to say PG Tips.
I was going to say McDonald's.
I was like,
PG
British, yeah.
Tips.
Imagine that in winter,
Yeah.
sat around with guitars, acoustic session, cup of tea. Goes
Yeah.
well.
That's a good idea, actually, isn't it? If it ever did pop off properly, you could
Big
imagine.
up PG Tips.
PG Tips.
My guitarist put me back onto cups of tea lately in one of our kind of rehearsals. I always just drink water because it's good for your voice or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He was like, "Do you want a cup of tea?" I was like, "You know what? Yeah."
suits your voice, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god.
What I have every time, cup of tea with some honey in it.
Bit of honey.
Yeah, man. You want to
Like
get
a
on that,
PG Tips with honey in it.
Yeah. Don't have milk. Don't have milk.
Oh, okay,
Because,
interesting.
yeah,
Oh, if it's black with
try
honey,
that
yeah,
then.
that's interesting. Do you put a bit of lemon in there as well sometimes?
you can do, yeah.
That's really good for
It's
your
good for your throat,
Yeah.
man. It just feels better. I also get this other thing from, I don't want to mention the company name,
Whatever.
Holland and Barrett. But anyway, I get this thing. We're not sponsored by Holland and Barrett yet.
Yeah.
I get this thing called throat relief or something. It's like a
tablets.
tea.
I think I know.
It's a tea.
They're like,
Yeah,
tea.
it's a tea. It's a tea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's called throat relief, I think it is, but it's really good. It's probably some of the best tea that I've had for
You know
singing.
what? At the Ron's Honky Tonk show we were at, I got put on by the guys. All of the singers were doing this thing, and I felt so out of the group because I've never heard of it before. They were all sipping honey and lemon water first backstage, and they all had these little sweets that they were swallowing, and apparently it makes you sing better. It's
That's
like
what I thought you were going to say about. Yeah,
It's like something
they
out of
sell
Willy
they
Wonka,
sell
innit?
a lot of guitar shops sell them.
Yeah, I've
They're
never
like
heard of it.
flavoured.
Like
They're a
lozenges
bit
as
like
well?
they're a
Pretty
bit like
much,
lemon,
them.
not Lemsip,
Strepsil.
Soothers.
Yeah.
They're like that. So
They're crazy.
Sounds like a bit like snake oil, though, doesn't it?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
sing better with this. Yeah, all right, lad. Yeah.
yeah.
Come on.
I think so. I think, and
Imagine.
I don't know whether it's possible to have a placebo as well.
I think so.
You have something and then it makes you sing better, but it's actually a placebo.
I mean, Brooke gave me one backstage, and I was thinking,
Yeah,
bro, if this is something...
he's got all sorts of weird little stuff.
I was like, we're going to have an issue, bro.
Oh, no.
Imagine get spiked
I know, yeah.
before a show.
Now, what we're here doing is one of the official first episodes of Ron's Honky Tonk podcast. My friend, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'd love to. So, my name's Owen Morton. I'm quite new to the UK country scene. I've been singing and playing guitar and country specifically for 7 years. And only in the past year, really, it's become more of a career. And I say career, it's still very much part-time, but it's going in that direction at the moment. It's like I've finally found what my calling is in life. And honestly, just up to now, things have happened, man. Things have been done for me, and it'll be a pleasure to talk about today, really.
Yeah, man. So you said about 7 or 8 years ago you started singing and playing?
Yeah, man. So I was about 15, and it was after GCSEs, actually, I finished, and I just had the whole summer free. And it was actually not long after, GTA 5 came out. Right, so let's not endorse underage gaming. But yeah, it wasn't long after. And they have something called Rebel Radio.
Yes.
Yes.
We all know Rebel Radio, don't we?
I was
No
more,
way, you got into country through that.
That was my first taste, so I was like, oh, what's this?
I was more of a non-stop pop guy myself. But
Okay, yeah, it was between the two.
Yeah,
I
you
never
can't
really read Rebel
unhear like the songs from GTA now, can you?
Yeah,
Where you like hear a song
I know, innit?
and that's what you think of.
That's exactly it. But it's a funny start, I know. But it quickly took off from there. And it was like, okay, I've got to listen to more Tammy Wynette. You know.
who were they playing on that radio? Do you remember like one or two of the songs off that radio?
Yeah,
station?
man. Ray Price, Crazy Arms. Tammy Wynette, DIVORCE.
I just remember all the Phil Collins songs, like the scene where Michael is in the garden and then like,
Oh, yeah.
what's the other guy's name? Franklin?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah, and he's got his headphones in, yeah. No, absolutely, man.
So at that point, were you like singing and playing, or?
No, so this was, to be honest, this was before. This might have been about 2014, before, you know, doing that. But that's where it started, you know. I'm not going to say that, like, my family introduced me to country or something cool like that, because they didn't. Like, when they started listening to country, they were like...
Rockstar Games.
That's the first time I've heard GTA 5.
Oh, there you
Classic.
go, man, I know.
Yeah.
But it was like... Oh, it wasn't just that, and I'll get to it, but it was like... this, from, you know, to listen to that unironically back then was like... I was in a school where, you know, people listened to dubstep or EDM and stuff, and, you know, it was like no one wanted to admit, or I didn't want to admit that, you know, I love country music at the time. But another thing that it was I've always loved the American accent and the Southern American accent.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, there's actually a country, there's actually a music genre which exclusively has this in, you know, so let's listen to it. So yeah, it was like more Tammy Wynette and then Loretta Lynn and
Some more old school
Conway
stuff.
Twitty. Yeah, definitely, it was all old school to begin with. It was only a bit later on, so yeah, so let's say in 2015, I was about a year in to listen to it and really vibing it, you know, and GCSEs were all done and I just had 8 hours to do nothing. And I've always been musical. It's been like, before that, that's to say, no one knows this, but I used to do DJing.
Okay.
Yeah, just with little decks. And
Yeah.
my sisters, mates and all, I used to have parties and I used to go and do it. You know, probably
What kind of music?
child labour,
Like
but...
house, garage, what we talking?
Oh, EDM, man. It was like,
Okay.
in my opinion, 2014, the best time for EDM.
Yeah.
You know, you had like Martin Garrix and like BBS and all that.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'd like to think that I matured into country.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just picked up the guitar and it was like, you know, I sold my DJ decks to go to America actually,
Wow.
because I have family in Idaho, in Boise.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that was 2017. I sold them just for a little bit of money to go over,
Yeah.
to pay for the flights and just live there for a bit. And it was over there when I went to Randy Houser for the first time, first country concert ever. And from that point, that was it. Man.
Yeah,
It was like,
nice.
That's the moment.
this is the life. This is the lifestyle, man. You know, in
Yeah.
So what did you do when you get back to the UK?
2017, it was. Well, I've got footage of me trying to play along, you know, with like all of my favourite songs at the time. And it sounds terrible. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I saw that video the other day that you made
Yeah.
of like the throwback to 2017
Yeah.
compared to now. Your voice
Oh
changed.
yeah, man.
like,
That was 2020. That was a few years in. So I've got a bit of cobweb in my mouth there.
Take out your dip.
Yeah, that was a few years after. So when COVID hit, it was like, I'm sure like everyone kind of had that phase where they bought one of them. And they were like, yeah, let's, you know, make this a whole studio.
Yeah.
And it was like the Dunning-Kruger effect. It was like, this looks easier than it actually is, you know.
Don't get me started with that.
Yeah, man. So it was like, oh, what, there's actually a challenge. But I kept consistent with the voice.
Yeah.
I didn't really do any lessons until later on.
Yeah.
So I don't even attribute, like, you know, the bulk of it to the lessons. It's more just from just practicing in my room and I'm just, you know, getting a bit better each time. So yeah, I mean, I can just go on forever, honestly. And it's like, How it went, it was from 2020, I started doing Fiverr, so I'm sure you've heard of Fiverr before, maybe. It's just a freelancing website for anyone who doesn't know. You'll go on there and you'll find sellers who do anything for you, it could be graphic design, music, songwriting, anything. And I just started...
EDM DJ.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky it weren't that though. Yeah, I just started my own gig and eventually got the confidence to just start singing for people. Well, I got a few orders in, at first, and really there was nothing much that came for it for the first 3 years, and this is where Swilson comes in. So I met this guy on Fiverr called John Williamson, and he's a pretty known rap artist from Houston, Texas, and he's actually during a phase where he's expanding in kind of his scope of musicality. So he's in like a songwriting phase, and so he's writing all these songs, and he paid me to sing on his first album, his first country album, I should say, Back Roads and Bonfires. And honestly, mate, this was the thing. It was the first time I heard someone that was unbiased believe in me as an artist, and that's detrimental. Like that is so important for someone to someone who's unbiased to just say, you can do something with this. And that's exactly what it was with John.
How have you adapted to? Because I suppose at that time, it would have been COVID, wasn't it? So you weren't doing a lot live. How have you adapted from that kind of performing to live performing now?
Honestly, man, it was just going to a load of open mic nights, because I found out quickly that's its own separate kind of skill, isn't it? Performing live compared to performing in front of people, or in front of a camera, I should say. So it was just that was just going through a load of open mic nights. And, I'm still mess up sometimes, nowadays. Performance-wise, I'm sure everyone does. But
big time.
Yeah, man.
Too much.
Yeah. I feel like we're in a generation though, like where, not that we can compare to before times, but everything's just like out there. Like everything that you do, every move you make, everything you say, is just like
you gotta remember.
So I think we're in a generation where we just have to accept that people make mistakes.
The worst part is, I think we've got it a lot harder, is because now we're in, venues where we're playing a song, and if you slip up, there's hundreds of people filming it. And it all goes
Exactly.
They never had that back in the day. If you think about it. If any of these country artists from 50, 60 years ago were playing the Opry and slipped up a bit and had to start their song again, no one knows. So they go down as these legends who are amazing. And everyone's got in their
Very
head,
good point.
these guys must have never messed up. I bet they have.
For real. Well, it's true, man. I actually watched the video of Chris Stapleton not long ago. Well, it was from about 2018. So it was a few years after Tennessee Whiskey. But anyway, he was still kind of, he was small, like not as big as he is today. But he slips up on the song, and it's like it was a reminder that the best do it. Man,
Must have been fake. He's perfect.
So. If you've got that video on your phone, the FBI are coming for you.
Dude, and even seeing him live, it's just the best who you look up to in the world. They're just human,
I feel like as an artist, we've all had experiences where we've messed up and it's so embarrassing. Do any like spring to mind for you?
Oh, loads, mate. More often than not. To be honest, the last time it happened, I was about 6 deep, so that's a good excuse. But it was like
said 60. I was like, what? 6 deep, six beers deep.
Rollers deep,
Right. Yeah.
So I had a bit of an excuse, but it just happens sometimes. I'm like, I remember the chords, but I don't know how they're played. So I'm just doing some random strumming pattern, and then I just stop, and people are like, right, where was that going? And then I start, I remember it now.
I used to have a thing where
it's real.
Genuinely, like when I started off music and performing was so new to me, I'd never perform. I went from not doing music at all, not singing in front of any mates, not playing in front of any mates, to being put on some fair stages very quick in my career. I was so inexperienced, and I would mess up basically every single song, I felt like. And I'd watch artists who could like smash a song start to finish, really complicated songs, and not mess up once. And I was always like, how do they do it? And I don't know.
Practice makes
it just comes
perfect.
with time, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I think so, man. Yeah, I think the more you do one song in a live setting, just the better you become at it.
Yeah.
You know.
What about? We'll flip the question. Best moment so far. There's those moments where you go, oh, that was an awful mess up there. But then there's those moments where you're like, that was amazing, I smashed it, I'm the best. What was your moment?
Well, it was recent, actually. It was playing in Texas for the first time last month. So, back on to John, he had an event that was going on over there. It happened to be his birthday weekend that we were over there too. So he was like, you know, bring your guitar, come and play, and we'll do like a gig. You know, it was unpaid before the TSA start, you know, getting on to me. But I was like, yeah, go on, let's do it. This is a great opportunity to play in America. You know, it's something small, but it's something that a lot of people, that I've dreamt of, you know, to play over there, man. And like, for people to know the songs.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, when you play some British venues, no one really knows the songs.
Yeah, and
you know,
the worst thing is they pretend they do.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Actually, I mean, that brings back another memory, actually. Probably the worst time performing over here was getting booed off stage.
Oh no.
You've got to tell the story now.
And to be honest, it wasn't even me. It was what I had learned from it. It was, you've got to pick the time that you play.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the FA Cup, the World Cup was on,
flip.
right? I was playing at a sports bar, wasn't I?
Oh no.
And I timed it before, like, I timed it to start on the, to finish when the match starts.
Yeah.
So it was an England game.
I can
You can
imagine.
already imagine the crowd, can't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like, I was playing all classic country tunes, man, and I was loving it. You know, I was playing Willie Nelson, George Strait.
Yeah.
At this point, I could tell no one was listening, so I was like, right, I'm not doing the crowd pleasers.
Yeah.
I'm doing the songs that I love and that I want to do.
Having fun. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And eventually, it was just to the stage where it was like people were just looking annoyed and stuff, and someone got up and were like, oh, listen, can we get the match on? Or can we get the pre-run-ups on, whatever it is?
Yeah.
And I was just like, you want me to F off then, yeah? Because I was like, I was a bit like, you know, gutted at the time after that, because no one's ever said that. But I get it, you know, I get it. You've got to pick your battles, really.
Exactly. I mean, you hear the stories. I mean, I heard Zach Brown Band a while back talking about how for literally years and years and years they would play shows like that.
Yeah.
In like old restaurants and stuff where no one was listening, they wouldn't make no money, they wouldn't get far with it. But those are the best moments when they look back, and then once they've now made it, they look back and think, damn, those stories were great. Me and my mates, we have a hell of a time like laughing at everything that happens at all of our shows. There's always some funny memories, so it's a great experience to learn from and grow, isn't it, as well? I bet that toughens your skin a bit.
Oh, it does, yeah. I mean, at the beginning, it was, well, when it happened, it was like, oh, you know what, and because I was doing a Sunday thing for them, I was doing their, like, you know, the Sunday set.
Yeah.
After that, they were like, all right, we don't want you back.
Oh, really?
Oh no.
So to add to it, I got a text the day after. I was like, oh, you know, but it's, like I said, man, I mean, you just got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
Pick your shows.
And that wasn't reflective of your talent. It was more.
No,
that
it's just the audience.
It was just the like wrong place at the
Yeah.
wrong time, I suppose.
I'll take responsibility for not kind of picking the show.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most appropriate time to do it.
I think we all learn from that. I mean, I've recently had to figure out that it's probably wiser.
Just putting that mic on there. Sorry, go on.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I reckon it's probably wiser to pick quality shows over quantity, because I've played some stinkers in my time. Because when I was starting off, I was like, I need to play loads of shows, get the experience up, and I took a load of gigs. And one of them was the first time I ever brought my guitarist out to play a show as a duo. We were really excited. We'd rehearsed for ages. We rocked up at this place, and the stage was just like a truck with the side open.
Oh.
Right, we got on there. The opening act they'd organised for us was a Punch and Judy puppet show. Right.
Oh, no way.
I swear to God. Yeah. So they come to me, right? Straight face. They look at me and they go, right, your cue to come on is when the crocodile eats the sausages at the end, and you hear the snapping, right? Get on stage. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? How have I ended up in this place?
Oh no,
So,
That is hilarious.
We've signed up and done some stinkers as well. Got to pick your battles.
that's pretty eventful.
Didn't get booed off at least. There.
Wow.
I think Punch and Judy did get a bigger cheer than we did at the end. But yeah, talking about
That's still cool.
finding the right crowd and stuff. I know you've been kind of similar to me. In the UK, we don't have like a super big audience that are coming out to every single show, to every small pub venue and such. So you've been doing a lot of your kind of online marketing and finding your audience on social media. So if you wanted to talk a little bit about what you've been doing on social media, how you've been growing, where it started and where it's going.
Yeah, man. So this is something which, like, I really want to talk about the social media part, because it's a different approach to what I'm seeing other people doing and what I think is working for me. So far, this is all subjective, but like you said, the country scene here it's quite niche. I've been heard that it's called a fringe community. It will pop off, but not quite yet.
Yeah, and we're just figuring things out.
We're figuring things out. Yeah, well, that's perfect saying. I'll come back to that actually. So I decided to do things a bit different. Rather than take a lot of gigs, and like get the face-to-face fans and try and build it that way, which is, the traditional kind of way to do things. I've decided to approach the social media as a business instead. So this is just a simple way to put it. I'm not running my social media like an artist. I'm running it more as a business, and the goal of the business is to find the pain points, to narrow down a target audience. For me, I've actually got two which play into it. So British country fans and US Patriots come into it a lot. I've got many friends who are.
That explains the flag.
yeah, many friends. So there's these two groups of people, and it's more I tend to target the UK country scene a lot more. But I'm thinking to myself, right, what's a pain point? Okay, a pain point is, the fact that when you go into town, when you go out on a night out, there's no country bars. But as country fans, we want that. We want to go and, sing Chattahoochee and, line dance and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people out there that want the same, but haven't found the community yet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't even know that a UK country scene exists.
Yeah.
So my goal of social media is to bring this community and to start my own community around this into more people's lives. It's doing a great job. Social media is a great tool for that. I can go into the technicalities about how you're doing and stuff, like if that's what people want to hear.
The secrets of the industry.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's. I
knows
can't
the
remember who
secret.
said it recently, but it was either Rhiannon or Ashley McBride. I'm not sure. That was saying, like, again, coming back to our generation, like, not only are you a singer-songwriter or an artist, you have to be a business person.
Yes.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, for real.
And unfortunately, you can't really separate the two, especially when you're starting up. So it is such a challenge dealing with those things. Not that I can speak from personal experience, but how do you find that? Like, one question I like to ask, like, how do you stay motivated when things don't necessarily go your way or as expected?
Yeah, it's a funny one, to be honest. It's more of like expectations about staying motivated. So don't expect to go viral just instantly, putting out one post which you think might go viral and then it doesn't, because that's, if you get expectations up, that's where you do kind of lose that motivation. With social media, what you've got to think about is the algorithm, which is what all us musicians pray to, is actually just a reflection of how captivating our content is and how our audience resonates with our content. So don't think of the algorithm as an enemy or as some sort of divine being which has got the power to make your dreams come true, because it really isn't that. It's based on how, it shows people what, their past behaviours indicate they want to see next, basically. And the way you do that is you've got to kind of, bringing it back to the business, you've got to find the pain points with them. So I've found a high targeting message at the moment, which I call growth posts. So I've got different types of posts. This is technicalities, but one is a growth post, and a vast majority of my following comes from that. And when I say following, that translates into fans, because then they go and check out the rest of your music. And believe me, like it's the best way, like, to grow your music and to grow your fan base is not just by your music. This is probably a controversial thing.
Unfortunately it's true, isn't it? Yeah.
But I believe in this. So I've got something called growth posts. It's about a 7-second long video of a nice shot, and you want some text on there, which, again, it's something that resonates with people. And what they'll do, be polarising too. So be controversial, because what happens is it gets comments, and people will love you, but they'll hate you too.
Like, Bored might throw a chair off the top of a bar. And then, try that one.
A bit of Morgan, yeah. Well, to be honest, that won't be the worst thing that he's done in the past decade, innit? But it's stuff like religion hits deeply with people. I am religious. And that seems to, just by being authentic and putting that out there, it does leave a sour taste in people's mouths, some people. But then you also get a massive group of people that love you for it. Yeah. Because they're like, I resonate with that. So I think about an artist who wants to grow, a piece of advice that I'll give is, even if you're going to piss a few people off, do it. Because you'll find your audience. And you shouldn't be afraid to be polarising. So that's within the growth posts. I don't aim to be it, but I don't really avoid it, Yeah. I don't go into politics. Like, there's no need in that. Yeah.
Especially being British. It's so relevant to the bigger audience.
There isn't a need in that really, but something that you do hold that might be polarising. It's okay. But so that's the growth post anyway. That's where a lot of the following comes from.
Yeah, cool. I was going to ask, so, like, your songwriting process, what kind of inspires you, and what, where does that kind of inspiration come from?
So I don't really have a technique or like a schedule for songwriting, and I've heard this being said by a few artists actually. It's just something that comes to you a lot, songwriting, and the inspiration, I suppose, comes from listening to other people's songs, and just kind of making it your own a bit. I was talking to actually a guy called Sam Butler, which I only met him yesterday, a really nice guy. Shout out to Sam. He actually gave me a good idea, which it's kind of something that I've done in the past, but it's, I'm 23, I don't really have a lot of experiences that I can go and write songs about. So it's like, you feel free to use someone else's, experiences in the songs. Ask a friend,
I feel like that's a songwriter's job almost.
Yeah.
Some of the best songwriters that I listen to, John Prine and such from before, we've obviously spoken about. I hear a lot of them say they feel like it's almost like their responsibility to share some people's stories who can't vocalise it as well as they can. If you've got a way with words and somebody has a beautiful story and you can share it with the world and let people relate to it and connect to it and feel it, that's your job as a songwriter, I believe.
Yeah, man, I agree, honestly. And it's like, I didn't think about that for a long time. It was more like, I wanted to write songs that were about kind of direct experiences that I've had. And that was just putting myself in a box, really.
Do you have one song that jumps to mind when you think of like a fun story behind it?
Ooh. That's a good one. A fun story. I mean, I write all depressing stuff, me, man.
That's
So
mad,
it's
me.
like, you know, I'm like fun.
Or what's the most meaningful? Sorry to
Yeah,
hop on your question. What's the most meaningful song to you?
by
Would you
far,
say?
there's a song called "History in the Making."
History in the making.
History in the Making, yeah. So I wrote this kind of like, it was as a letter to me when I was having doubts about this whole music thing. You know, I'm sure we've all been there. Like, when you're making this music thing more of a part of your life and you're actually being serious about it, obviously you doubt yourself and you're like, is it worth it? You know, will I actually be successful at this? You know, will I enjoy doing this? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Because we're always told that, you know, don't become a musician. You know, there's nothing in it. Do something else. You know, at least, you know, I'm not going to say that I was, but I kind of always had that installed in me. And this song was just, it was a bit of reassurance. And I think it's actually the second most streamed song on Spotify on my page at the moment. Where it's essentially, it's like a letter to myself. And there's a phrase in it that always comes back to me because it's more relevant now. Because when you put yourself out there, you get a lot more hate online. And there's a verse in the third chorus or something that's like, don't let the hatred change up your pace, kid. They don't care if you're blind or you're deaf. And it's like, you know, it strikes home because it's true. You know, it's like, don't let the hate, you know, change what you're doing, because they don't care who you are. They don't know who you are. Who you are doesn't have anything to do with what they think about you. You know. And I wrote that before even experiencing this, and it's like, whoa, there was a bit of wisdom in there, you know.
I love that. I've done that a couple of times. I've written a song and listened to it like 2 years later and gone,
self-fulfilling
wow, that was
prophecy.
good.
Yeah.
Man, that's it.
Sometimes I listen to a bit of lyrics and I'm like, who wrote that? And I'm like, wait, me? Great. Yeah. Do you have a favourite line from a song, any song you own?
Long neck.
Nice.
No, I don't know. Like, I'm not very good with on the spot questions. I'm sure there'll be something I could like. When you were talking about sharing people's stories, I was thinking of a song called "Saving" or "Riding with Private Malone" or "Saving Private," not "Saving Private Ryan," "Riding with Private Malone." Never heard that.
I've heard it.
Can't remember
Rings a
who
bell.
it's from. But that's an awesome story. But it's like a guy singing about a army guy, and like there's this situation where he buys his truck.
Yeah, that's his truck, isn't
and
it?
then opens the glove box and finds this letter from Private Malone, who died in the war.
That's crazy.
And it's like, this was my truck. If I don't make it home, then this was my story. And it's like he's riding shotgun with Private Malone. It's like,
That's cool, man.
So I love songs like that. Not necessarily like a certain line, but that's the kind of
Storytelling
music
songs.
I like. Is, you know, stories that, you know, that's likely either based on a true story or whatever. But
You got to take a
those
listen
ones
to "Jesus Saves" by Riley Green.
yeah,
That's another similar song. You heard that?
I haven't, you know.
Good old song.
you haven't heard that?
It's about
Oh no, you put me on the spot.
he's
I'm only just getting onto the Riley
Bro,
Green train, to be honest.
yeah,
I'm on
Jesus
track
Saves.
to
You want to
say,
listen
yeah.
to that?
I'm on
That's-
track to
Yeah.
be in the UK version of Riley Green. I'm making it my mission, aren't I? See the Honky Tonk show.
You gotta get in the gym,
Free,
innit, bro?
free shots, do a little workout.
Riley Green from
Yeah,
Wish.
man, that's cool.
I did once get called on a UK country Instagram post or something, the sexiest man in UK country. Claiming it all day.
Nice.
Put it on my CV.
Claim it, bro, yeah. Put that in your bio, you know.
Change my username. When I die, put it on my gravestone.
Yeah,
Nice.
there you go.
All the way to the end, man.
Yeah, that's it, you know.
What would you say if you had,
That was your mum's Instagram profile.
if you had a
Actually,
title? If you had to give yourself like a title
Yeah.
in the UK country scene, what would you call yourself?
Ooh.
Like, what would you want to be introduced as when you're walking out on a massive stage?
I don't know, you know. That is a good question.
If there had to be like a nickname for you.
No, you know what? I'll have to think about this one.
Come back to it.
OJ.
Yeah, we'll have to go back to that one. That's a cool question. I want to give a good answer to that.
Not many artists have that really, do they?
No.
It's like a very like WWE thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Boxing thing.
Mixing niches, yeah.
And the announcer can do like a walkout.
Yeah.
I think Morgan Wallen is the only guy who does walkouts. I've thought about doing it.
Yeah.
But people just think I'm
Walk like at the water rats, like the
stage is
2
that
meter,
long.
the 2 meter like corridor.
I'll be shuffling through.
Yeah, you got to get the moves for that.
What would your walkout song be then? Instead of a nickname, if you had to walk out to a cool song, what would your walkout song be?
Probably I'm a Ram by Chris Stapleton.
Good shout.
I'm
Do you
a
have one?
Ram.
What was that song?
I'm a Ram by Chris Stapleton.
I'm a Ram.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
think
have
I've
actually
ever
thought
heard
about this
that.
before. It's he partnered with Ram, you know, the Dodge Ram and stuff, and yeah, they done a song with it, and it's cool. It is cool.
Do you have a walkout song?
At the gym, I always stick on Arkansas by Chris Stapleton.
yeah.
That is an awesome song.
Yeah.
And have you seen the live version he did? It's like in this field, and they built this huge like stage, and it's just in the middle of nowhere, and it's like filmed with a drone. It's just so good.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon there's a Morgan Wallen song out there I'd take. You know, the song called 180 off his new album. Do you know that one?
Is that a new one?
It's one of his like rap country songs. Oh, it's a couple of years old now, but
okay.
off the later album, yeah, that's a good one. Heater, I'd take that one. In the gym, I'll be back.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
in the gym.
when did you grow up in Liverpool?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was there any kind of like influence there on music? Because I know that's quite a iconic
Yeah, man. I mean,
area.
obviously, I'd like to say the Beatles, but I'd be lying to you because, you know, I wouldn't.
John Lennon posters all over my wall.
Yeah, you know, I'd like to say that I'm inspired by the Beatles and, you know, Jerry and the Pacemakers. But I'm not, like, I just didn't, full respect to
Fair
them,
enough.
I just didn't listen to them, you know. I do know the songs, of course, like, I mean, that's like scripture for Scousers, you've got to know the songs. Of course. You know, we've actually had the Beatles on recently. But, yeah, it's more like, I mean, maybe the place. When I was 18, I used to go to Matthew Street a lot, which is, it's where the Cavern Club is, you know, and the birth ground of the Beatles, basically. And that was always a good place, you know, to go and watch live music, and it still is. And I suppose it was before, you know, well, it was while I was doing it, but before actually committing to being a musician and stuff, it was like, say, oh, you know, that would be so cool. I'd rather be doing that, you know, than what I was doing, which was working in a law firm at the time. And maybe it did contribute very slightly, you know, listening to all those Beatles songs, you know, being played live. So that's pretty much all they play there. But yeah, so maybe it was, but it's not as big as I'd like to tell you it was, to be honest.
Nice. So how frequently are you on the road at the moment? Like, are you doing frequent shows, or like what's kind of your routine at the moment?
I'm not at the moment, man. I'm actually working full time to pay for it. I'm actually I'm a deckhand on boats, basically, on the
cool.
Mersey. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's quite a mad job, to be fair, but it's good because it can pay for all of the music stuff, and it also gives me 4 days off, so 4 on, 4 off.
Oh, nice.
So it's ideal.
Yeah.
It's one of them jobs that I don't really need to pack in, you know, unless the music was taken off.
Yeah.
Which it is the goal too, you know. But again, that goal is through building a social media audience. And,
What do you think would
blast off
be
that way.
like a made it moment where you would go, all right, now I need to quit my job and go for it? What would have to happen?
That's a good question, man. I think maybe when I know that there's regular kind of gig inquiries coming in or something, maybe. You know, again, it's something that I haven't actually thought about. I think more for stability, you know.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Sorry to interrupt. Like, Zach Top was saying in an interview that he was working full time until literally like a year ago. You know, so it's normal, and like you say, it's like if you're not providing yourself, then how are you going to survive? You know.
No, of course.
Some still do work. I mean, Call to War.
Yeah.
Still
Oh
works
yeah.
full-time,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Exactly.
He's
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
He's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a cool man.
I know. I'd like to say it's like Bailey Zinnemann's story. He was working on the pipeline, something like that, wasn't he? And then obviously that one song kicked off on TikTok. It was what was it? What was the song?
Rock and Hard Place.
Don't Fall in Love.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was that one that took off on TikTok. And he was like brand new to it, and suddenly he's getting 6 million views, and people.
He toured with Morgan, didn't he, for a while?
Yeah, well, we went to see him in January in
Apparently he's
London.
amazing live.
Oh, mate,
Very good.
loved him.
He's awesome. He's a
Yeah.
good one for the gym as well.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favourite like made it moment so far?
Oh. I'd like to say maybe playing in America.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, from the surface level, it isn't a massive thing.
Was there a certain moment while you're in America, like one exact moment that springs to mind?
Yeah, probably playing one of my songs over there, like one of my own songs. And they knew it because the guy that was hosting the event, John, wrote it with me.
That's cool.
So everyone there obviously was familiar with me, and so they kind of knew the lyrics.
Do you think you're gonna go back then?
And it was a bit of a fake moment because, you know, probably there's only one, you know, group and the people knew it, but it was still cool, man.
You're gonna
Yeah.
run it back.
You know what I might do?
Second time.
I think I want to go to Nashville next year because I've got a good friend who I'm working with there who's called JL Fulks. He's an amazing guitarist. We've recently done a co-write on one song, and that's in the works at the moment. So he's well, it's not in the. I've said it now. He's saying a lot can change, you know, in a year, but right now, you know, it could be a case where we can just go over and just make content and do that, and maybe play a few open mics or whatever.
Have you got a dream venue anywhere to play over there?
I mean, how big can you go, you know?
Big as you like.
Whiskey Jam though is quite cool.
Whiskey Jam.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd love to play Whiskey Jam and then leave wearing one of their hats.
Yeah.
You see hats everywhere, don't you?
Real.
Yeah.
Whiskey Jam's
Yeah.
a great, good shout.
I always see Whiskey Jam come up and I'm like, oh man, how do you do that? You know, it looks so cool.
Yeah. I've got a contact actually for the owner of Whiskey Jam.
Really?
Somehow. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was at the Buckle and Boots Festival, and these fellas called Heart Wreckers, they're a really cool duo. They were just showing me around, kind of just like what they're doing over there. I think they were going on tour with, who is it? Very big artist, Tim McGraw. They were going on tour with Tim McGraw, and I was thinking, damn, these boys are doing it. And they'd done Whiskey Jam a few times. And I was chatting to them about it, and they were like, oh yeah, here's the guy's email, here's his number, I'll give him a shout and he'll get you on. I was like, that's sweet. All right. So I need to get on that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, for real.
Pass it
Man.
over to you.
Definitely.
Whiskey
That's-
Jam's cool.
That's cool.
There we are.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So what's
You
your...
should have said Ron's Honky Tonk, mate.
yeah, imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
My
Yeah, well,
That's true, actually.
yeah. So what's next for you then? What are you planning next? Are you working on any projects or?
Yeah, man. So this is next year. I want to bring out my first album,
Okay.
and it's a. When I said before, it's called Figuring It Out.
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's the album's name, and it's
Yeah.
because I'm inspired by a lot of different types of country, man. And it's like I've really struggled to find a style and stick with it. So a lot of my songs right now, pop, folk. I had one bluegrass one on there. You know, I'm writing kind of like some classic country stuff now because that's what I'm digging. And it's like the idea of having like a melting pot of a lot of different
Genres.
conflicting genres doesn't sit well with me though.
No?
No, so I want the first year to kind of be like finding that style.
Yeah.
And the first album, I've given myself the freedom to do that.
So you're putting out singles until you found your sound, and then the album will be all of that sound.
So I'm planning on just putting them all into this album. So I'm just gonna pretty much go hell for leather, writing whatever I want, not putting myself in any box, producing it, not sticking to anything, putting it all in this one album, and just seeing what kind of sticks, you know, seeing what people like in that, seeing, just giving it time, you know, like to find myself as an artist.
See what works.
Yeah,
I
man.
think there's nothing
So-
better than a versatile artist.
Yeah.
Because then any
Yeah,
time you're
real.
feeling any kind of way, they've got a song for you. If you want a sad one, cool. If you want to...
And
Yeah,
every musician evolves as well. Like, you know,
Yeah.
look at Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Like
real,
how
yeah.
she started in country and now
Yeah.
it's like,
I miss
Shake
the-
it
I miss
off,
the-
you know?
Post Malone, you know.
I
yeah,
miss the old
exactly.
Taylor Swift country stuff.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Taylor Swift song, boys? Come on now.
Tim McGraw.
Is it?
Ooh, yeah.
I like...
Some of the folklore ones were good.
have you heard one called Mean? I love Mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That was all over the country
So
radio when I started
Yeah, I
listening
know
to
that
country
one.
for the first time. So it's like a nostalgic song almost to me.
Yeah. The Teardrops on My Guitar, one of the old ones.
Some good shouts here, boys.
There's some,
couple of
probably
Swifties,
that
aren't
one. Actually, me mates at home call me Taylor Swift. No, because I'm born and play guitar. So they'll be loving that.
Yeah.
Sick.
But,
Oh,
Who would be? I've got one more question here. Other than Taylor Swift, your like secret artist that you listen to when no one else is around. You know, like you're with the boys in the car, you're playing cool
Yeah,
music.
man.
Once they get out, what are you really putting on?
I do like Lecade, you know.
Who?
So they are right, they're a bit smaller. Lecade, they're not like, they're quite pop country,
Okay.
but they're like, you know, if you showed this to any country fan, they'd be like, this ain't country,
Oh, okay. I see.
you know. But it's cool, you know, the
Yeah,
songs.
yeah.
I'll think of a different one.
Okay, I'll have to check them out.
You know what? I don't know, maybe a bit of Russell Dickerson.
I've never heard of him.
No.
He was at the
Yeah.
Long Road Festival
He was.
a few weeks
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
I missed the whole thing because I blacked out. He was like
pop
the
one, man.
headliner.
Yeah.
I blacked out. I was in my tent lying there thinking, I'm so comfortable right now. So,
Yeah, man.
almost saw him.
Yeah, maybe
He's
him,
good,
like,
though. He's got a few good songs.
he does, to be fair, yeah. Yeah. So,
What about yourself? You got one,
That's it.
Ewan? Who's your guilty pleasure?
I was thinking Lainey Wilson, but that's kind of acceptable, isn't it?
yeah.
I'd say Lady
Yeah,
Wilson's
Lainey
very
Wilson.
acceptable.
And not really anyone else. My like non-country would be garage music. That's kind of what I just stick on if I'm having a little break
Yes.
from country. I just
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
on some old school garage. You know.
Nice.
See, I'm not ashamed to listen to nobody, but you'll catch me like screaming some girly stuff in the car sometimes. I've been playing that like, what's that Sabrina Carpenter
Right.
Oh,
okay.
espresso song?
Yeah.
It's not country, but it's great. Might do a country cover of it.
Yeah, man,
Someone
that's,
has to.
that's an idea, you know.
Ariana Grande as well, but you know she had a song that Keith Urban did a cover of called "We Can't Be Friends." It's so good.
Keith Urban covered Ariana Grande.
He did it very well.
No way.
So,
Yeah.
If someone held a gun to my head and
cool,
said,
isn't it?
"Name one Ariana Grande song," I'd be dead.
Really? She's
They agree, to be honest with you.
You know what I mean?
Can't pretend I don't
answer.
listen to it.
Yeah, Ariana
First
Grande.
off.
Every song I could probably do word for word.
Yeah.
Maybe Olivia Rodrigo, Driver's License.
Okay.
That's a cool song.
That's a good shout. Very.
But I heard that when it first came out, and I was like, this one could definitely be country,
Yeah.
you know?
She's done so well.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
All right.
Cool.
The last question for yourself to ask
Yes.
yourself a question. That didn't make sense. Did it? If
Yeah,
we
man,
could have
okay.
asked you any question, what would it have been? And then
Yeah.
you also give us.
Oh,
an answer.
yeah, just feeding, okay.
Didn't make no sense, did it? That.
No,
Oh, man.
I like that.
You know what? You've covered quite a bit of ground. Oh man, you put me on the spot. So a question that I'd ask myself.
Yeah. I'll tell you what if it was a question you could ask yourself in the future?
I was about to say that, or a statement you can make to future Owen.
It's deep.
What are the lottery numbers from?
That's it. Yeah. Oh man. Probably just keep going. Hard times are coming, you know. But I've proven to myself that this is just the best journey in the world for me. And there'll be resistance and there'll be crap songs which come out. But you know what? Keep going because this is sick.
Just keep it rolling. It is
Yeah.
good, isn't it?
This is cool.
All right, man. And this has been cool.
Yeah.
It's been nice
Yeah,
chatting to you,
man.
brother.
Thank you
Thanks
so
very
much,
much.
brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's from
And that
Rex.
was Ron's.
Thank you. Honky Talk.
Talks. Talks.
That's a wrap.
Yeah,
boys.
awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man.
Dude,
That's the longest one.